Finally, we got the news for the UFC. Dricus du Plessis will be taking on Khamzat Chimaev on August 16th, as well as Whittaker taking on RDR July 26th in Abu Dhabi. And International Fight Week's fight card has finally been released. We'll be going through that fight card, as well as UFC's Fight Night, Burns versus Morales, up next in Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fight with Friends. It's your boy, brother, Gaia. I am back again to do another UFC update, as well as some of the fights we're going to break down. It's coming up this weekend for the UFC. But today we are going to start with the fight announcements that took place literally about 24 hours ago. So I'm going to break that down for you next, starting with the update that came out with the two title fights that will be headlining July 28th International Fight Week. We have Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira for the lightweight strap, as well as Alexandre Pantoja defending his title against Kara France on the same fight card. That's the co-main event. I'm just gonna go to the rest of the card. Actually, let's just talk about these two fights first, because it's the main event and co-main event before I go into the rest of the fight card. Because I do think the fight card is actually really good. Main event. We kind of knew this was going to happen. It's been spinning, it's been happening over the last couple of months. There has been like talks about it, about this potential matchup, but it was all dependent on what was going to happen in the fight between Bilal Muhammad versus JDM. Of course, we got the winner now, and we know that JDM won that fight, and that ultimately made the move make sense for the UFC. I'm not too upset about how it played out. I just feel like they could have made the announcement much sooner, because what happens if JDM had lost that fight against Bilal, then some still go up. We don't know, So anyway, I don't think this fight's gonna play out. Super stoked that they made it. I thought it was gonna be Topuria versus Gaethje instead, but I'm not upset against the about the Oliveira fight. Early predictions for this matchup, I am gonna go with Ilia Topuria. I just think that he's a new breed. I think he's younger. He is younger, but he's got that. He is the new breed of MMA, right? And there are a couple of points that I find quite interesting about this fight. And that would be one, Charles Oliveira, even though he's been at the top of the food chain in the lightweight division for quite some time now, he has lost some fights. He has looked a little bit weird, particularly the one against Arman Tsarukyan. It was a back and forth matchup, don't get me wrong. It was high level, but Arman Tsarukyan is literally the same age as Ilia Topuria. They're in the same group in terms of this new breed coming into the UFC, or the new age of MMA fighters. They're tough to beat. They're literally in the position where Charles Oliveira was before. Young, hungry. No one's gonna no one's gonna derail me from my dream, for me getting into the title positions, And when the fighters like that, they're kind of hard to beat, because they eventually get to that point where they're fighting for the title, right? And Ilia is there, dude. I mean, he vacated the title to come and fight for another one, so. Personally, I think he stands a higher chance of winning the fight. I will reserve my detailed analysis on the fight for when we actually do the preview, make it close to the time of the fight. But right now, early predictions, I just think Ilia is on that streak at the moment where he's gonna get Charles. With Charles, his last fight was against Michael Chandler. That don't count for shit. And he almost got stopped in the 5th round against Michael Chandler, which was so strange to see. So I didn't like that. I didn't like the way that looked. He's the kind of guy that's gonna go balls to the wall with you, man. He's gonna stay in there. He hits fucking hard. Good boxing, good wrestling. I just think it's gonna be a war between the two guys. I want Charles to win. Deep down, I want Charles to win, obviously. But I'm having a hard time seeing it happen at this moment in time. And then the co-main event, Alexandre Pantoja defending the title against Kara France. He's going to defend his title. I'm saying going to, because I do think he's going to beat Kara France. Kara France hits very hard, strong guy. He's got some good takedown defense. He deserves the title shot. Finally, he gets it. Because I think in that division, any one of those guys that's in the top 5 are that close to making themselves fight for the title. So I'm thinking I would have loved to have seen Pantoja actually go up against Merab, but okay, they gave Merab O'Malley. So that means Pantoja has to fight against the next guy, and the next guy is Kara France. Even though Brandon Royval won against Tatsuro Taira, even though Brandon Moreno also won his last 2 fights, looked really good in those 2 fights as well. Kara France is deserving, you know what I mean? He's also one of the only guys in the top part of the division that Pantoja didn't fight against. So I do think that let's give him some fresh matchups there. And early predictions of that fight, I'm going to go with Pantoja again. I think he's the better fighter overall. He may not hit as hard as Kai Kara France, but he definitely has a much better jiu-jitsu and wrestling pedigree than Kai Kara France. He's got a more well-rounded game plan and fight style, if you think about it. And he can box with it if he needs to. He's got more durability, I think, as well. So I just think he's overall the better fighter, and that's why I'm going to go with Kai Kara France. With Alexandre Pantoja. Of course, as always, let us know your thoughts about these matchups. They are quite good. Get your early predictions in now so we can get to know more about that. It also help us give our predictions when we get closer to the time. And also don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right, we're going to move on. I'm going to scroll down to the fight card, right? This is the rest of the fight card. I don't think it's the entire fight card, but these are the kind of matchups that we're going to see, right? And I just spoke about the top two fights. The matchup between Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov is good. I think that's a very good matchup for both those guys, considering that their ranks are very close to each other. And Paulo Costa has been on a losing streak, whereas Kopylov has kind of been on a winning streak. So for Kopylov, the natural progression for him would be to fight against someone like Paulo Costa. I am all in on that. Let's go for it. Pardon me, I think it's a fantastic fight, so I cannot wait for that one as well. Then we have Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano, which I think was supposed to happen before. I'm happy that's happening now. Finally, I hope these guys make the weight. No one gets injured. No one pulls out. Number 10 versus number 9. I think it's perfect for both guys. For Beneil Dariush, if he beats Renato Moicano, it will further himself go back up to the top of that division. Whereas Renato Moicano, pretty much the same thing. If he beats Beneil Dariush, he jumps up into that. I'll say close to the top 5. Really close to the top 5. I mean, the fact that they gave him the fight against Islam Makhachev kind of shows you what the UFC thinks of Renato Moicano. He pulls a good crowd and he pulls a lot of fans, and also he puts on good fights, man. And I think he's at the point in his career now where he can't afford to lose. So big ups for that fight. Good matchup again. I can't wait for that one. Then Jonathan Dines versus Justin Taffer. I'm going to skip that one. I don't know why that fight's even on the card. I don't know why it's there. That fight should technically be at the very bottom of the card, but it's on the main card, which I think is completely dumb. We already got a Kiwi on the card who is deserving to be on that co-main event slot. So I think Justin Taffer, I thought he retired, honestly. I don't know why he's still here. I'm going to skip that one. Brandon Royval take on Manal Cup. I feel like that fight should have actually been up on the main card instead of the main event of the prelims. It's just, anyway, but you do kind of need a headliner for the prelims, right? But you could have done, Justin Taffer has enough weight to be put on the main card. I mean, you think he has a good crowd, right? He pulls the crowd really well. Then you could still make him a headliner, but then do it on the prelims. People are still going to tune in to watch him anyway, for that one at least. But now you kind of spoiled the card a little bit there by putting him there. But anyway, Brandon Royval versus Manal Cup, number 1 contenders matchup. Beautiful fight. I cannot wait for this one. Probably going to be the fight tonight on that fight card, honestly, because that's going to be massive. Royval is again, and Manal Cup are that close to getting that title shot again. More for Royval. Manal Cup hasn't gotten it, but he has fought against Alexandre Pantoja. In fact, that was his first fight coming into the UFC, and he lost that one. So he's obviously going to want to get that run back against Alexandre Pantoja, but he would have to go through the number 1 contender first in Brandon Royval. Early predictions, hard to say, man. It's very hard to say. I like the way Manal Cup is quick. It's very quick. I think Royval's going to have a hard time chasing him down and actually landing, but I do think that Royval's got the talent to do it. He's got the skill set and the mindset to actually win that fight. That's going to be a bit of a tricky one, but that's going to be a mad fight to watch. Then we have the return of Jaco Manson, middleweight bout against Gregory Rodriguez Robocop. Can't wait for that one as well. I think Jaco Manson, he was at the time like a top middleweight contender and good fighter overall. Like, he's got some good grappling, good striking, hard to beat, really durable. And it's the fight against Gregory Rodriguez, which I think Jaco Manson's going to have to weather the storm in that first round, and then obviously look to go to the wrestling, and that's where he's going to dominate the fight. He'll dominate the fight in the wrestling department and have Gregory get tired, and then ultimately do what Jared Cannonier did to Gregory Rodriguez. Pretty much the same kind of fight is what I expect from that one over there. And then we have Viviane Araujo taking on Tracy Cortez, number 8 versus number 9. Number 10, that's the flyweight division, so I'm super stoked about that one as well. Good to see Tracy back. She's taking on a good contender as well, so not much to say. Just looking forward to seeing that division keep moving. The women's divisions need to be very, very active, especially the ranked fighters. Need to be very, very busy, because then that would obviously bring more and more conversations around the divisions, because all we're really focusing on is like the top 5. And I think that we need to pay more attention to the rest of the ranks. Even though the fights aren't the most entertaining, I do think that it's still important regardless. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Teixeira Cortez come back and fight again, and yeah, continue to climb the rankings. Right, now I want to go into the meat and potatoes of why I'm one of the fights I'm most looking forward to. In fact, the fight I'm looking forward to the most. On the 16th of August, we are going to have Dricus du Plessis taking on Khamzat Chimaev for the middleweight championship in Chicago. And yeah, this is going to be a fantastic fight. I cannot wait for it. We've been waiting for this one for a while, and now we finally got it. And we've been talking back and forth on the channel about Dricus and Khamzat's fight. And you know where my stance is on this fight. You know what I think about it. I know that if you've been watching the show, you will know that AD has been saying that maybe this is the fight he's fearful most of because of Khamzat. And I told him I don't think so. I think Khamzat is going to be surprised in how strong, how good, and how intense Dricus really is. And Dricus is going to match him in every possible way and take it to a different level. So I think Dricus is going to smash him and kill everybody. And then prove to everybody why he is number one middleweight in the world right now. He's just that guy. Just like I was describing earlier in the episode about Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan being this new age, Michael Morales, these kind of guys. I think that Dricus is also in that group of being the new top dog. You know, he's going to be a champion for the next, I would say, probably 5 years, 6 years. And then you're probably going to see Dricus say, all right, I'm hanging up my boots here. So, big matchup. Give me your thoughts in the comments, please. I am going to go with Dricus, dude. It'll be completely against who I am and where I'm from to go against Dricus, but also remove all the biasness and just look at the fight as it is and the athletes as well. I think Dricus is the better fighter. He really is the better fighter. And yeah, I'm just intrigued. Khamzat's going to obviously be very tough in that first two rounds, maybe even the third round exchanges. But then I expect Dricus to really put it on him. Maybe even earlier as the second round to really put it on Khamzat, because Khamzat's obviously going to go balls to the wall, and then Dricus is going to survive that first round, and Khamzat's probably going to realize he's gassed out, and then Dricus is going to start turning on the heat from round 2, round 3, round 4, and remain the champion, bro. I expect Dricus to actually finish Khamzat. I expect him to finish Khamzat. Not decision him, finish him. But anyway, give me your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, for that one. Big matchups for the UFC that's coming up very soon for the rest of this year. And yeah, I'm actually quite stoked from what they're putting together. So for now, let's keep it moving to...
Right fires, let's go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it, come on!
We are previewing the fight card of Burns versus Morales. And yeah, I'm going to go through it starting from the top of the card as always. Headlined by Gilbert Burns taking on another fellow Brazilian in Michael Morales. Oh, I'm actually fearful for Gilbert Burns here. To be honest with you, he's ranked number 8 in the welterweight division, formerly challenged for the title. Unfortunately, lost that fight against Kamaru Usman. His record is 22 wins, 8 losses, 6 wins by KO, 9 wins by sub, 11 first-round finishes. He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak, losing to Sean Brady in his unanimous decision in his last fight. Michael Morales is ranked number 12 in the welterweight division. Record is 17-0, 12 wins by KO, 8 first-round finishes, 5-fight winning streak. That's in the UFC. And he beat Neil Magny by KO in his last fight. So, yeah, we know what we're getting here. He's taller, more muscular, younger, more vibrant than Gilbert Burns. I'm yet to see what Michael Morales looks like when he gets taken down, you know, because that's what I expect from Gilbert Burns. I expect Gilbert Burns to stand in the pocket with him first, throw some overhand rights, try to establish a jab, but be very cautious in that moment because Michael Morales is from Ecuador, not Brazil. Sorry. I expect him to do those things, kind of similar to what he did against JDM. However, I think that he's going to get quite a bit of a rude awakening when he realizes that Michael Morales is actually a deadly striker and he's powerful and he can slip and rip very beautifully. He's got the range advantage. He's taller, so he's going to utilize that a lot better. It's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a barn burner for sure. I want Gilbert Burns to win, but in the same breath, in that saying, I also wouldn't be upset if he didn't, just because he had his chance at the top, put it on a slide at the moment. Not sure what's happening to him. He may still have it in it to fight these top fights in the top 10. I just don't know if he's going to make it to the top 5 or make it to the title contention again, especially if he loses this fight against Michael Morales, which I think is very likely. If he loses this fight against Michael Morales, then, yeah, I don't know. We're probably going to have to call Gilbert Burns and be like, dude, you're probably going to just become the top 10 gatekeeper at this point. Michael Morales is scary. It's very hard. Just knows how to box, and he's got some good takedown defense. So I think it's going to be a tough fight. I'm building it up to make it sound like Michael is going to win. Michael Morales is going to win 100%, but it is Gilbert Burns. It's going to be a tough fight for him. So I'm yet to see what Michael Morales looks like when he's facing some extreme adversity. I expect Gilbert Burns to put him in some deep waters, and then I'm going to need to see what he does then. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. Yeah, let's see what the legend does. You have to support the legends, but let's see what happens here. Michael Morales has got it in him to ride this wave and get to the top of that division and put in a performance, man, because the welterweight division is stacked and we need more people like Michael Morales in there, just sleeping everybody. So yeah, let's go. Fun fight. Fun fight. Let's move to the co-main event. All right, co-main event. We have Rodolfo Bellator taking on Paul Craig. And Rodolfo, record in the UFC, excuse me, is 12 wins, 2 losses, 1 no contest. So 7 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub, 8 first-round finishes. He drew with Jimmy Crute in his last fight. I don't like when people draw, dude. It's like either that to be a war or this wasn't enough happening. I can't really remember that fight very well. I didn't pay too much attention to Rodolfo. When the heavier divisions, they have a big tendency to put on snooze fests where the fights get very boring and dull because the guys get tired after the first round. If there's no knockout in the first round with heavyweight guys, then it's like, or light heavyweight guys, the fight gets very slow. So that's why I like it. But when you talk about the top of these divisions, like the top 5, top 10 of light heavyweight and heavyweight, then it gets a bit more fun because the guys are a little bit better in fighting and it actually takes it to the deep waters. But a lot of the time, these guys just become snooze fests. So I'm hoping it's not going to be that. Paul Craig, his record in the UFC, his record in MMA, 17 wins, 9 losses, 1 no contest, 4 wins by KO, 13 wins by sub, 11 first-round finishes. He's currently on a 3-fight losing streak. He lost to Bo Nickel by unanimous decision. And that was, of course, at middleweight. So Paul Craig has been up and down between the two divisions. He's a natural light heavyweight, but kind of small for the division. And I can understand why he went down to middleweight also a few times because he's a big fighter for middleweight. But apart from grappling, he doesn't strike very well. Everyone seems to put him away when they start striking. If he doesn't get it to the ground, he doesn't win, right? And that's how Paul Craig's most of his fights go. So if he loses here, I think the UFC should cut him because it'll be 4-fight losing streak. Doesn't really put on that entertaining fights anymore. Can't really go for a title. So he's just there to get paid if you think about it. Whereas Rodolfo obviously he's only been 2 fights in the UFC. So he obviously wants to, climb up the rankings and become a bit of a star here. So yeah, I expect him to go in there and knock Paul Craig out. But if Paul takes him down, I think Paul can tap him out for sure. Of course, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is going to get the job done here? I'll have to go with Rodolfo. I think he's going to knock him out. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be the heavy hands of Rodolfo and the jiu-jitsu prowess of Paul Craig. And whoever gets their game plan first here is going to get the job done. And I think Rodolfo is going to keep the distance, establish his jab, try not to get too much in the clinch work. Don't let Paul Craig pull guard, and I think he gets the job done. He gets the job done for sure. Pepper that jab out. I'm going to open up the right hands, maybe tip if you will, and then you probably will get that knockout. Right, the next fight we're going to be talking about, which I think is going to be probably the fight of the night on this fight card, if I'm being honest. Because I do expect this to be a dog one, very dog fight. These guys are going to go and put the show on for us. We are having Sadiq Yusuff taking on my guy, Myron Santos. Sadiq Yusuff, record in UFC, 13 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 6 wins by KO, 5 first-round finishes, 2-fight losing streak, and he lost to Diego Lopez by KO in his last one. First-round finish, by the way. Myron Santos, on the other hand, he's got a record of 16 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest, and a 4-fight winning streak. That's included in the UFC. He's 8 wins by KO, 4 first-round finishes, and he beat Marshall by split decision in his last fight, which was, I know AD watched it live and he was saying that he felt that Myron Santos actually lost that fight. I didn't get to watch it, unfortunately. But he won. He's here now. He's taking on Sadiq Yusuff, who I think is definitely a level up in competition for him. Sadiq he was growing quite well in this division, and then he took those back-to-back losses, and I was like, oh no, what now? But he's still here, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I think Myron Santos is strong, hard to take down. He's got very good boxing, power punches. sets up his handwork really well. He's a nice fighter. He's an overall good fighter, and he can wrestle when necessary, and he can also defend when necessary. So I think he's an all-round brilliant athlete. He's still very young. I think he's 25 or something like that. Still very, very young. So I'm keen to see how he shows up in a fight where he's taking on someone that's a lot more experienced and actually really good in this division. So yeah, let's go. I'm keen to see it out. I'm surprised that it's in lightweight. I think maybe Martin Santos can't make the featherweight mark anymore. So here we go. This is his fight in lightweight, and I'm keen to see what's going to happen when they show up. So Dick's got some good wrestling. He's got some good boxing. Unfortunately, I think he's going to be potentially outranged here because Martin Santos isn't much bigger than Sadiq, but he knows how to use his range. He knows how to fight off the edge of his punches. So yeah, let's go, man. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I want Martin Santos to win. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him. I think Sadiq's going to put on a hell of a fight. So let's go. I think it's a fantastic one. The rest of the main card, we have Dustin Stolfus taking on Nursultan Ruziboyev. He's a good fighter. I've only seen him once, if I'm being honest. Dustin Stolfus absolutely sucks ass. I don't know why he's there, so he's probably going to get knocked out here. Julian Rosa versus Milkizeo Costa. Fantastic matchup. I think they're going to go down really well. I think Milkizeo Costa is probably going to win the fight as well. And then the rest of the prelims, not much to really go on. We have Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. That should be a fantastic fight. Here's Elise Reed versus Denise Gomez. That should be a good fight as well. This one here, Yusung Park versus Carlos Hernandez. I expect that to be a bit of a war. And then Tisha Pennington is back on the fight. Right? Back return to the UFC again, taking on Luana Pinero. So I think that's also going to be a fantastic fight as well. But okay, that's all my time, ladies and gentlemen. If you have made it this far, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We won't be doing any lives this weekend. Just end my music quickly. But we will be doing quite a few recaps. Obviously, we're going to be recapping one Friday fight, and we're going to be recapping this event as well, which is the UFC Fight Night Burns versus Morales. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments about the matchups that's coming up for the UFC this year that's been announced, as well as your predictions for this fight card of Burns versus Morales. All right, that's all my time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all the support. Catch you on the next one. Have a fantastic week. Love the people. Stay loved, be loved, and you'll catch us then. Cheers.